Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Rod Mackey, 9 News Sports Director here, freshishly back from London. How was it?
I'm finally back on my time schedule right. I could not figure out the time zone messed me up. I don't know. Luckily, didn't mess up the Broncos.
No,
but it was good. It was. That was huge. That was absolutely monstrous for the Broncos. And just so the viewers know, we thought about not doing this because we're going to call it the Chris Jinx.
So we've not done this twice.
Yes, they seem to win when we don't do this. So do we do it before the London game? I think not.
So the only one they've won, I think, where we have done this was Houston, the Houston game, the second game of the season.
Okay, so it's not a complete jinx. So we'll continue to do it then.
You were in London. I had to go to Tampa to help cover the hurricane back in late September.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Moons ago.
Yeah.
But
Broncos on a roll, one in a row.
One win in a row, and they also didn't lose during the bye week.
Yeah.
I guess the first question that comes to mind, did they get any players back from that extra week off?
Well, here's a concern is that we found out today that Justin Simmons is iffy because of a knee injury he had in London. So hopefully we see him back. So you're without Bradley Chubb, who's now with Miami. You could be without Justin Simmons, and there's several players that they were hoping to get back, Randy Gregory being the key guy, but that still seems to be a few steps away, so that's probably not going to happen this time. So they're not going to be 100% there, but Tennessee hasn't been 100% there either. We saw Malik Willis filling in for Ryan Tannehill a couple nights ago, and oh my, let's hope that happens.
Oh my gosh.
Then you got Derrick Henry, and that's it. Obviously, that's a big ask, but that's what Denver has to do. Ryan Tannehill, he's good, but he looked like, that team, that's a different team when he's not on the football field.
That was crazy. You know what it reminded me of? I watched that whole game on Sunday night. It reminded me of when Kendall Hinton played quarterback for that Broncos that one game where
man,
that was rough.
Yeah, but Kendall Hinton's in the Hall of Fame, so
True, and of course he was if you don't remember back in 2020 when the whole Broncos quarterback room got COVID.
Against the Saints.
He had to play emergency.
Didn't do him any favor. Everyone else got breaks. The Broncos aren't going to break. They said you're going to play who you got. Don't get me going on that. I'll hose the Broncos on that one. But that was long ago. And now we're on the present. The Broncos are on a roll. Like you said, one in a row and haven't lost in 2 weeks, so it's good.
Thoughts of the Bradley Chubb trade?
I look at it two ways. One, it's tough because it cements the fact that you had the 5th overall pick with a chance to grab Josh Allen, the Wyoming quarterback, who's obviously one of the best players right now in the NFL, and you took Bradley Chubb. Now, Bradley's having a great season, but again, he's no longer here. So what we're going to do is next year when San Francisco's pick comes up, 27, wherever it may be, and that's the player that was the 5th overall pick. So that's what's frustrating about it is just when you look back and say you didn't get the player you should have with the 5th overall pick. On the flip side, you weren't going to pay Bradley Chubb $110 million, which you got in that extension from the Dolphins. So you look at it and say, okay, with that said, George Paton, to get a number 1 for Chubb, did a good job. They are not going to keep him. What can you get in return? You get a number 1. I think it's good for the Broncos to get that, and it's good for Chubb. He gets paid. He goes to a team that's got a decent shot right now. It's kind of a mixed bag. It's sad to see him go. He's having a tremendous season, but he dealt with a lot of injuries. He never was that player that we hoped he would be. And what makes it so hard is who they passed up on. But there are a lot of teams that passed up on Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's true. But I guess, is it a bad signal to the locker room? You're still 3-5. You're still kind of in it. I know the back half of the schedule, and they've looked really bad.
They talked about it, but the players don't understand it's a business. The Broncos are not as good without Bradley Chubb. There's no question about it. They're a better team with 55 on the field, no doubt. But if you can't keep them, you've got to get something for them. So it's a move that had to be made. It's the business part of sports.
All right. So I guess moving on from that, you got Bradley Chubb gone, I guess, at this point. You look ahead to this game against the Titans. If they end up winning this game, and not to get too excited about that, because the Broncos, though, we're recording this on Wednesday, only 1.5-point underdogs, which is kind of surprising. I think it depends on whether or not Tannehill plays.
I've seen 3, but I've seen 3. 1.5 sounds.
Well, I've seen 1.5, Rod.
Well, I might have to bet where you're betting.
Yeah, maybe we'll alternative Vegas, but I think it's realistic to say the Broncos have a chance, especially if Willis is playing there.
No, absolutely.
And if that's the case, you're 4-5. The AFC West has not been as good as I think people anticipated.
Absolutely. You also got, then you're going to also have a Raiders game at home. You're going to have a Carolina game. So after that, that's where that schedule that we talk about turns into a juggernaut. So this is your chance. I mean, I really didn't think they had a chance. The way that game started off in London with the pass should have been picked right away. The Russell Wilson, they're down. They have no offense. And then they pull off the end. That was huge. Now you've got to follow that up. You cannot lose to Tennessee. And it's not going to be easy. Going on a road, playing against one of, if not the best running backs in all of the NFL, whether Tannehill plays or not, this is a game you've got to get. Then you've got to win at home against the Raiders. You've got to get back to 500 to give yourself a chance. They're not winning the West, but the wild card, believe it or not, is still a possibility with the 17 games. But you got to stop giving games away. As Hackett said the other day, you got to start winning games. You got to start stacking wins. The Broncos haven't been able to do that. You got to start stacking wins, and you got to do it now. You have to do it now.
Optimistically, they did something they haven't done basically all season. They got multiple touchdowns in that game against Jacksonville. I mean, I'm being a little facetious there, but not a ton. I mean, they can't score, and they finally did.
This is what stood out for me more than that game. First of all, Justin Simmons saved that game. That interception, they were going to go down 14-0. It was going to be game over. It really was. The momentum, it would have just been horrible. So he makes that interception in the end zone, which was huge. That was a game saver. Then at the end, the defense let the Jags score, and you're like, oh my gosh, the Broncos had the lead, and the offense went down and bailed out the defense, which is something we haven't seen. So that was great. Russell and the offense able to have 3 long drives in this game. So there is reason for optimism. Let's carry that over now. That's why a lot of people said it's a bye week coming at a good time or a bad time. The good thing is that they got a chance to rest up guys. Russell Wilson, namely, he was really pretty banged up with the hamstring. He's had a couple injuries, and he never misses games. The bad thing is you did have some momentum. So you've lost a little momentum, but, let's see what happens. Tennessee played late Sunday night, so they should be tired. The Broncos have had a bye week. Broncos
we heard that before the Colts game, too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no run. The Broncos should be well rested, though. I mean, it does shape up for them to be able to steal. And I say steal because winning on the road on the East Coast on an early morning game has not been easy for Denver in the past.
So what's your prediction?
I'm not doing them anymore. Okay, here's what I'm going to do.
Why?
That's what happened last time. I jinxed them. I'm going to take Tennessee because the last time I did that, I took the opponent. I don't remember who it was. It might have been the Jags game.
No, you picked the Jets.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you
and
picked
the Jets
won?
Yeah,
and
no,
won.
That didn't work out then. I'm trying to help the Broncos. I'm still saying Tennessee.
You going to say Tennessee?
I'm going to say Tennessee.
So you actually think Tennessee's going to win? Or
I'm not going to say that. I'm trying. You know, there's that Mackey jinx. So I'm trying to figure out a way to help the Broncos
I'll give
out.
you. You want me to bail you out?
Okay.
Okay. How about this? You think they're actually going to win if Tannehill plays, but if Tannehill's not going to play, you're just saying that.
If Tannehill doesn't play, you better win this football game.
Yeah, agreed.
You better win this. Their defense is good enough that they can stop. And they played well against Derrick Henry in the past. So they had good and bad, but they've had games against him. If you know they're a one-trick pony, you really better win this game.
Okay, so there it is. Rod
I'm
Mackey.
kind of being wishy-washy on who I'm picking, just so then I can say later, I was right.
Rod, fence-straddling Mackey. You heard it here first. 90 Sports Director Rod Mackey, thanks for joining us.
You bet.